Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and let's start here. Just in, Russia says ditching the US dollar for trade settlements is a top priority in 2024. And then while these guys are talking about ditching the dollar and accumulating a bunch of gold, we've got these morons over here like Elizabeth Warren. It's time for the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates. What she means is it's time for us to go back to money printing. Now this is an older clip, but this is Andy Sheckman talking about how these politicians like Elizabeth Warren, where they're going to lead us.
I had the fortune of having a couple drinks with James Rickards. You know, he was employed by the CIA to run simulated financial war games. And he says, well, here's what I would do. Every new brick, as they call it, it will be pegged to 1 ounce of gold in dollar terms, period. He says, if they do that, they don't have to do anything. The West will destroy themselves. If the West continues to inflate in order to pay for all of their entitlement programs and all of their obligations, remember we're 150 trillion in debt, and no one's buying our bonds anymore. Saudi's selling them, Japan's selling them, China's selling them. So if we have to inflate, the dollar goes down, gold goes up, bricks win. He says, and if the West tries to buy gold to compete, the dollar goes down, gold goes up, bricks win. So it doesn't all rely upon China. It may have started with China, but the countries that are joining because they all want to have equal say instead of be under the thumb of the West.
Okay, then we've got this. I had put this out there today with all the negativity. I mean, it never fails. Every time the market's flat or whatever, it gets so negative in the XRP community, whatever you want to call it. But this year, Brad Garlinghouse said it himself. He said, let's effing go. He's talking about 2024 when he was about to talk in Davos. We have all the reasons to be optimistic this year. Think about where we were this time last year. I think that was before we had a ruling in XRP. We didn't know if we were about to lose the lawsuit. We've got all the reasons to be optimistic now, and I am, not just for XRP, but for Ripple. And I do own Ripple Private Equity, and you can get it on my sponsor's website today, linked to, okay? Now, and by the way, I forgot to mention, and that was Andy Sheckman that was talking a minute ago right there, and he's also one of my sponsors, Miles Franklin. And I have a phone number and an email in the description. If you use code DAI Gold, you can get the best pricing on their when you call or email them. Hold on, I'm getting a text here. Okay. All right. This is an interesting chart that I saw today. How many institutions does it take to turn on the mainstream crypto light bulb? Crypto trading in custody, it shows who's ready. Bank of America, BlackRock, BNY Mellon, just about every major institution is in the crypto trading in custody. Private crypto funds, not as many. Crypto ETFs, a decent amount. Crypto-enabled payments. Oh, look there, JP Morgan, who worked with Ethereum before the mainnet launched. They're all set up for payments. Tokenization, several of them. Tokenization, I think, is going to come last, but an interesting chart. I've said for 5 years, even when these same institutions were saying that crypto is going to go to zero and none of our customers want it, I was saying then, no, not only are they coming, but they're all coming. And they are all coming. Check this out. The automated market maker amendment for XRP Ledger now ticking at 25 yes votes, 4 more yes votes for the activation period to trigger. The current Ripple version 2.0 seems to be the one activating the AMM on the XRPL if all goes well and is stable. We have many exciting amendments upcoming, but they also need a preparation for by the U.S., the community, to educate ourselves on the matter. Many have approached me to learn about the AMM and how to stay safe when using the feature. Okay, now, look, folks, sorry if I harp on Chris Dixon, but sorry. But we went through a lot in ETHgate, and these people have not in any way been held accountable for their actions, have not in any way even had a microphone stuck in their face, because they go on shows like Laura Shin, where she's going to toe the line and help them continue their narrative. When the true narrative is what we're going to show you. Because the fact, Jack, is that Chris Dixon met with Jay Clayton, and Jay Clayton told him to go out into the industry and put together a bunch of lawyers so that they could, and that was what, and their mission per Lowell Ness, the Andreessen Horowitz attorney, was we wanted to get Bitcoin and Ethereum out from under securities laws. That is what they set out to do. They didn't give a rat's behind about having regulatory clarity for the industry. They didn't even talk about it after they got the free pass, because they thought they had their monopoly. He just wrote a book and writes the entire book on blockchain and doesn't even mention XRP in the entire book. Then there was this. Listen to this clip.
I mean, so we already know that Bitcoin is now considered a non-security. It seems like Ethereum is too. So how does, are we just stopping innovation at Bitcoin?
You can't get more disingenuous than what he just said.
Ethereum, or, is it just like, if you were created before some date, it's okay, but anything after that date is bad? Or is there some pathway for new things to become the way the Bitcoin and Ethereum is?
What I would say to you is the only reason he's acting like he gives a crap now is because we uncovered ETHgate. These guys, make no mistake, these guys were planning on just going forward and they were planning on all the tokens being built on Ethereum and Bitcoin living too. But now, because ETHgate was exposed, they want to act like we should have clarity for all of them. But he's not telling the truth when he says, oh, well, it's pretty obvious only Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities now. No, not true. I said, have you no shame, Chris Dixon? He's blocked me, but I still included his thing in there. After you secretly meet with Jay Clayton and engineer the fake regulatory clarity for Bitcoin and Ethereum, not legal clarity, just the Hinman speech, you're still going to run with this and not even mention that XRP is the only digital asset with legal clarity being a judgment from a court or Congress. You're still going to run with that, despite Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman's best efforts to stop it. Can you direct me to the chapter in your book about your closed-door meetings with Jay Clayton and the SEC to get Bitcoin and Ethereum out from under securities laws? At least that's what your attorney Lowell Ness said. Then this clip, he was on Laura Shin, and he says this.
But there are a lot of people in crypto who are critical of what they call VC.
Folks, this is the part that terrifies them. This is the dirty little secret right here.
One of the memes around this actually uses an image of a faucet where the VCs get most of the flow. There's just drops left for retail. So, with these critics calling out A16's involvement in funding new projects and receiving, some percentage of the tokens, how do you, address those criticisms, especially when they say what you and the founders are doing is dumping on retail?
It's just none of these criticisms I've seen are actually based on any facts. They're all just these sort of vague insinuations. The actual facts.
I'm going to give you some facts.
The situation is, if you look at all of the projects that we're involved, first of all, the first thing people will say is that we own too much and control these projects. It's just simply I think the average, certainly I think the norm in the industry now is a VC lead will own something like 3% of the tokens. And if you just go, look, all this stuff is public information. Certainly, almost every project we're involved with, we own sub 5%. Second of all, I think even the smart critics will say that A16Z, holds these things for a very long time. So the stat that we have is that of the token holdings since life to date into crypto funds, we have sold 6% of our token holdings. Just to give you a sense of the fact that how long term we are.
Well, them dumping on retail with their tokens, that's one thing. That's a different issue. The real issue, the one they're not talking about, is the ruling in the XRP. My understanding, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a securities attorney, but my understanding, and I asked all of these people, but I'm pretty sure, folks, my understanding, and I'll play you a little clip of the Ripple ruling and the judge's ruling in that case, is that institutional sales, which and this is what they were doing, they're getting it. There's a company A is going to get funding from a venture capital firm like Andreessen Horowitz. They're going to give Andreessen Horowitz some of the equity in the company, but they're also going to give them some of the tokens that they issue. That is a founder issue, giving tokens for money to Andreessen Horowitz, an institution. So the question is, was that an illegal securities offering when they do that? And according to the Ripple ruling, I think it is. And I've asked these attorneys.
Described more than a dozen digital tokens as unregistered securities. Now we have a decision from a U.S. district judge in New York that the XRP tokens sold to the general public are not securities. However, tokens sold as part of institutional sales to more sophisticated investors are.
All right. So is that not a founder that issues tokens and sells them to Andreessen Horowitz in return for investment, right? They're giving them money and they want tokens. Is that not a security per that ruling? And nobody is giving them any scrutiny for that little dirty little secret right there. But the other beef that I have with the Chris Dixon thing is they're all, Bill Hinman went to Andreessen Horowitz after the whole ETHgate thing. He almost, I'm not saying it was, but almost like a quid pro quo. He goes and gets a job at Andreessen Horowitz afterwards. So did Katie Hawn, who just happened to be sitting in front of Jay Clayton the day before Clayton goes over to Andreessen Horowitz to talk to Chris Dixon. But the bigger problem is all of the ties between Hinman and Clayton and China, because China, remember, directly benefited by the regulatory capture of Ripple. Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman helped Alibaba, China, CCP go public in the New York Stock Exchange in the US. Jay Clayton, Bill Hinman, Gary Gensler helped prevent Ripple and continued to prevent Ripple from going public in the United States. And I said the U.S. has a problem with that country that starts with a C. Now, we're going to go further into this and show you, we're going to let you hear from an actual whistleblower in DAIXRP.com to tell you what they're really trying to do over there in that country that starts with a C. And I'm also going to show you, we're going through all this censorship stuff. Well, I'm going to show you where I think it really started. And I think it's pretty clear to me where it really started and why it started. Not where it started, but in the internet age, what triggered these people to know we've got to go and start controlling these social media outlets. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. All roads lead to China, right? Here we go.